What I've got here is a Kyosho Outlaw 1/10 scale trophy truck kit. So I was studying this manual here. It says here it's like a 70% complete kit, so you don't have to build the stuff like the differentials and all that fun stuff, obviously. Right here. And so what we're looking for, as you can see, 70% kit, and we're looking for the pointy finger and then these squares with the numbers in them. This manual covers as if it was like a 100% kit where you had to put everything together. So we get to skip all this fun stuff, and right here's the first thing we need to do, and it's talking about putting in the steering servo. So let me go grab that stuff. So I've been told the first thing you want to do before you install your steering servo is to make sure it's centered. So I got it hooked up to the ESC and a receiver combo there and put a battery in it. I got my remote here, got the steering trim centered out. I can hear it working, so I know it's all centered up right now. We got to put one of these pieces on here. That you get 3 different ones, I guess, depending on which. I guess different steering servos could have a different gear on here. So I found one that fit this one. Actual steering arm here that fits on top of here. Spring, washer, screw. Okay, so I've been following along the instructions. I got the, I don't know what you call this, the steering gear on there, and also it wants you to install these posts right here onto the mounting face here, and then I imagine you got a couple of screws here that are countersunk or 4 countersunk holes that go through the bottom into here. That's what's going to hold it on. Okay, we got our ball joint on there, and then I had to assemble this, the one of the tie rod ends or drag link. I'm not sure what you want to call this piece, but you have to screw it together. It's like a threaded rod, and you have to screw these things on. So what I did was I put a mark right in the center of that threaded rod, and when I was screwing these together to make sure I wasn't just screwing on one side, right? So I knew if that mark I put on there stayed towards the middle, that both sides were screwing on. And the instructions say they want you to have about 2.5 mil gap there. So that's about what I got. So call that good enough. And now we need to take our screws for those countersink holes that came and attach this. Now I left these posts that you got to put on here loose so I can move them around a little bit if I need to get them screwed on, and then we'll go back through and tighten everything up. Not super fast steering. Remember how earlier I was talking about how we needed to center that servo before we put all the stuff on it? Well, I got it crooked anyway, so I had to take it off and move it over a spline. So now it's straight. So I guess the steering is done. I guess we ought to turn the page and move on to the next step. Before I move on to the motor, which is what is next on the to-do list here, you have to install this brace. It covers up the steering linkage, and you got 2 screws going into the chassis, and then 1 going through the strut tower into the brace there. And it looks to be pretty integral for adding strength to the strut tower and the front of the chassis there. So definitely an important piece of the puzzle. So let's move on back to the rear of the truck now. Okay, now we're on step 4. We're going to be installing this motor, and I decided to go with this old Reedy Radon motor I bought a long time ago. I have a team associated SC10. That was like my first hobby grade RC car I ever bought, and I bought this motor to I don't really remember, but it must have been an upgrade from what came in it, but I ended up putting a brushless setup in that anyway, so I never used this. And I believe I can't find the motor I actually bought for this. I bought a 15 turn something, and I can't find it. And I think this is going to be a better motor anyway. I think it's a 17 turn, but it'll do 30,000 RPM, so probably going to do, I don't know, with this, it comes with a 16 tooth pinion. It's probably going to do like 20, 25, I'm guessing. So I put the pinion on there. They want the side with no teeth here on the outside of the shaft, so just doing what the picture shows. You might want to put some Loctite on there, maybe. I've done that in the past, but it does make it real hard to take back off again, so I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with this 16 gear on here. I just reefed it down on there pretty tight. I'm just going to leave it like this for now, and if I find a gear I'm happy with, then maybe I'll put a little Loctite on it. I think I only got orange here now. I definitely would probably go for the blue Loctite, because the orange will definitely be hard to get off. So now we just need to put this motor in here and get it meshed in properly, I believe. I wouldn't say they're tight, but it's definitely on the tight side, which, like I said, I think with a plastic gear in there, I'd rather it be a little bit tight than loose. So the cover for the slipper clutch in there just twist locks on like a radiator cap, and then the cover for the pinion has a little screw right there that holds it on. Alright, I skipped ahead a little bit, and the next thing was they wanted you to install what they call the radio box. Basically, if you have like a regular receiver and speed controller set up, you would put the radio receiver underneath this, and then the antenna would come out that hole, and then you'd stick your speed controller here. There you go. And also doubles as a thing to hold the battery in. So since I have that combo receiver speed controller, there's nothing under there. Everything's right there. You got the 6 bolts screws that hold it in, and then I also installed the this little door right here that holds the battery in, and got all the wiring hooked up. I just basically wired it the only way I could to have, because I only had so much length to these motor wires. It's all hooked up and pretty much ready to go. So now I just have to I'm sure the next thing is putting these shocks together. I thought you were going to have to build these shocks, but they're actually already put together. You just have to put the oil in them. That's what I'm doing. I just screwed the cap off there on the top and put the oil in. You can see there's some air bubbles, so I've just been working it up and down until I don't see any more air bubbles, and then I screw the cap back on, and I guess it'll be ready to rock and roll. There is front and rear. Those are the back ones. So I took my felt pen and put a little silver on the mounting hole right there to tell me that these are the front, so I don't get them all mixed up. After letting these shocks sit for a while, so all those little tiny bubbles got worked out of the oil, just gonna get them installed on the truck now. So there's 8 of these screws for the front and the rear. And they're all the same length aside from 2. See, these ones here are 10 mil longer, and those go on the top of the rear. Alright, I got them rear shocks installed. Remember, the longer screw goes in this top here because it has to go through this little spacer here and screw into this. And then a regular length one for the bottom here. The instructions illustrate you putting it into this farthest back hole, but I decided to just go with the center. Basically, I think the further back you put it, the more stiff the suspension will be. Now I think I'm going to put the wheels on it so I can have a roller, and then probably start working on the body stuff. So in order to put these wheels on, you got to get these hexes on here. So you pull the cotter pin that's in these axles when it comes out of the box, and then you put one of these pins in there, and that locks into the back of the hex, and then the hex locks into the back of the wheel, and then you put your locking nut on there and you should be ready to rock. Okay, we're going to be painting the body now. So First thing is to mask the windows and also these squares up here for where the headlights go. It's a little bit tricky getting these on straight. I really struggled with this back one here. It's like when you get your hands in there trying to stick it on, you can't really see what you're doing. Now I'm going to get some a scuffy pad and rough up this plastic and then degrease it, and then we're going to paint it. So I got it all scuffed up and I used some rubbing alcohol to degrease it. I wanted to put a two-tone paint job. I'm going to go yellow on the top, and then in the center here I'm going to have it white like the old trucks would have had. I've never done this before, but it's actually working out pretty good, I think. I got some of this 3M vinyl masking tape. It's really thin, this stuff right here, and that works really great for being able to make straight lines. It was kind of pricey, but I mean, I don't think I would have gotten this good of a result if I just used the regular paper masking tape. So I'm pretty happy with how that came out. And all I got to do now is the same to the other side. I got 3 coats of yellow on there, and I was running low on paint, so I peeled off the masking tape, and now we're going to put on the white. Just working on pulling back all the masking tape here for the windows. Paint's all dry. So I skipped ahead and put some stickers on here. Putting these borders around the window was something else. That was probably the trickiest part of this whole job, is putting those on straight. You got to have the hands of a surgeon. And you get 2 options. So I'm going to put the front grille in. You get 2 options. This is more like a square body Chevy grille, and I don't know. This kind of reminds me of a 70s Dodge grill. I'm going to go with these. And I forgot to mention, it comes with stickers you have to put on here for the headlights before you do this. And it comes with both sets, the round ones, and then you got the square ones here. There you go. These things are set up for real headlights too, so if you wanted to get like a lighting kit for this, it'd probably look pretty sweet because you got them real buckets in there. And then you would just stick your little light bulb in there and screw it in. Now to finish off the body, we have to put the roll bar stuff in the back. So I'm going to put these things in like that. Then we got this stuff here and some the bars that go up to the top of the body, and I believe this piece right here is what goes into the body posts. And then you put the pins in and it should be pretty much done, I think. Alright, so that's all you got to do with that. So all that rear body work, I believe, is good. So I think these side things just snap into the roll bars down there to keep this back from flopping around, and body pins go right here.